Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mary. I'm a mother of two beautiful girls and I love makeup. Today's video, it's spring time. It's a makeup tutorial on this spring look over here using new Makeup Revolution stuff and some mini reviews. Before you go, I hope you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. Let's get started. I actually can't tell which is worse, my hair or this zit over here. It's driving me crazy. We're going to ignore them both, okay? And talk about the exciting stuff because I'm so excited for this video. Makeup Revolution revamped the whole line. Even the stand at Ulta, it's completely different. They spent like quite some time with no products whatsoever. Every time I went there looking for the concealer, I can't find it, and quite honest, the rack was empty. And then when they started the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, and I went there and it was amazing. The whole rack is revamped with new products, and still my struggle is finding my shade. Like, I got two shades, both of them is not right. Like, I am so I'm not gonna say silly, but if you are at Ulta with a 4 years old, you're probably not gonna focus that much because you're not focusing on whatever you need. You're focusing of preventing catastrophes from happening. So I got the shade C9. I thought it was C6 because C6 is the shade I'm hunting. When I went after that, the lightest I can find is C7. I am still on the hunt for C6 because I would say this C7 is more likely my summer shade. For this color, my shade is more likely to be the C6, so I might end up actually ordering it online. Anything Makeup Revolution in my collection I will be using today, so it's not gonna be a one brand tutorial because I don't have foundation, I don't have blush, and I don't have liners or brow product, but I have the eyeshadow palette, I have highlighter, I have bronzer, I have concealer, I have powder. And I have been trying all of this stuff, so I'm actually going to give you my opinion and what I think and how you can make them work as we apply them. Let's just start by priming. And to prime my skin, I'm actually using the Smashbox Primer Water. For the T-zone, I will be using the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. I'm debating which foundation I should use. I'm probably gonna stick with drugstore, and I will use the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir. And I will mix in Almay Age Essentials. And I'm mixing the Almay just for the sake of color adjusting. If you have any of the like adjusting drops or custom drops from any brand, I know CoverFX has a very expensive one, and I know Catrice and NYX carry affordable option, but I mix foundations to do that, and both foundations are claiming they do good stuff for your skin, so I don't mind that. Now I'm using the Flower Beauty sponge. It's nice, clean and damp. And guys, looking over there, mirror, so I'm not crazy, a little bit, but not on this part particularly. Yeah, now we're matching. And now we're taking off the earrings because, as you can see, I have the messy bun and messy hair, to be quite honest. So I will take my foundation onto my ears. I got the Shiseido sunscreen yesterday and I actually used it today, and I wonder how it's going to layer below makeup. If you hear anything in the background, I have two girls off school this week, so if you hear anything, they're watching PG Masks, I guess. Let's talk about the concealer before the powder. I've heard a lot of YouTubers claiming this is a dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. So is it really? No, it's not, because as you can see, I'm using quite a bit of product. With Tarte Shape Tape, it's almost impossible to use this much. Like, you're screwed if you're using this much. So it's not a dupe. So that's the answer, in my opinion, for this question. But it's very good. I'm not gonna tell you it's very good because it's $7. No, it's really good. It has decent coverage. Any concealer on earth creases for me. If you have lines, it's going to crease. If you have lines and you're applying cream, it's going to crease. There's no way around it. So, other than, of course, setting with powders. So, does it crease? It does crease. But it's very good coverage, very good finish, very good staying power. So anything you would want in a concealer, it's there. So it's not just good for the price, it's really good. And they have like quite a shade range. And as I told you before, I like to leave my concealer to set a little bit before going in and blending it. That way it gives you actually more coverage, believe it or not. Baking time or setting, I will actually use the banana powder, and I have the shade Lace as well. One time I actually mixed them, but it was weird. It was weird. So no, don't do that. I did it for the sake of trial. It failed. So I will use the shade Banana. The packaging is not that great, and I can't like put my sponge over here. So I have an empty cap over here. It doesn't have an actual jar that it goes into, so I use it for this powder. I have my Real Techniques sponge. It's my favorite sponge to bake or set or use it with powders, because it lays in the right amount, exactly the right amount. I don't like it that much for foundation or concealers though. So what I'm going to do is I will make sure I don't have any creases or any lines and then go in with the powder. I'm going to set my chin and my forehead. Is this powder like not working? The answer is not for me. But if you have oily skin or oily around eye area, this powder will change your life. Literally, I would see an oily skin girl falling in love with this powder. Period. Because it's a heavy duty one. That's what I wanted to say. It's a heavy duty powder, and on this stage of my life, heavy duty powder, that of a heavy duty powder doesn't do good things for my under eye area. So right now I have 3 powders that I jump between, and these are the ones that are working for me right now. This one, I can use it for the whole face because I don't have much of a trouble area in all my face, like more than this area. I can use it to set my concealer on my eyelid, but for my under eye area, it feels like Sahara Desert over here. The banana shade is so good. It's brightening without like being white or strike white in your face. I love the shade. I wanted it to work for me, and the price is so good, but it just didn't. Guys, I will do my brows and be right back. Now I'm going to prime my eyelids. I will use the shade Scene Line, not for any reason. I just wanna use it somehow, right? So I'm going actually to powder my whole face, because if anything falls out from the eyeshadow, I can just brush it away, because if this is creamy, it's just going to stick. So let's do that. I'm using the Real Techniques powder brush and my CoverGirl Advanced Radiance in the shade 120 Natural Beige, and obviously I use it a lot. I like that it sets the makeup without being heavy or so powdery or like cakey. It's so light. And as you can see, I'm stamping it in so I don't move the foundation below. Are you wondering why I call this a spring look? What do you guys think? It looks like a flower garden over here. That's spring in a palette. Now, I have used it twice before, and when I saw it, actually it reminded me a hell lot of this one. And a lot of shades over here are exactly the same, period. But a lot of warm mattes in the new one. And right here, the mattes perform much better than the shimmer, but the shimmer performs much more intensely swatched. You know, when you swatch them, oh my god, they are beautiful. Applying them, not so much. For the mattes, it's the quite opposite. Like when you swatch them, they are chalky, they don't look like they're going to blend, but when you actually apply them, they blend. You're gonna work with them, but eventually you're gonna get a very nice look out of it. Like, look at this shade over here. I love anything pink with golden sheen to it. Look at the shade in my finger. Swatched, it's amazing, but you have to actually work with it when you apply it on your eyelids. Let's just quit the rambling and get with the application. So first I'm using the shade, okay, no names over here, so I'm using this shade over here, the creamy one, all over the lid. I have some new brushes that I'm falling in love with, so if you want like an updated version of my favorite brushes, especially for the eyes, let me know in the comments down below and I will do that. Now, we have to notice that there are some glitter suspended in the mattes, but once you apply it on your eyes, you don't see them like at all. So I consider them full mattes. So I'm starting with this shade on the bottom over here. It's nice warm transition. I'm using the mirror from this palette because one really drawback of this palette, there is another one, like there's this one and there is a one that's completely duping Anastasia Modern Renaissance, but the very bad thing about it is I don't have a mirror, so we'll have to work with it. For the brush, I'm using the Morphe M504. It's becoming my favorite initial crease brush. I remembered what I was talking about at the beginning of the video when I was talking about ordering stuff online at Ulta for the 21 Days of Beauty. It's the first time that you go to the store and you can't find the stuff you're looking for, and it was so frustrating for me. So some of the stuff I ordered online, like the Benefit Roller Lash, I didn't find it in store. Then, oh, what happened Saturday? Saturday the 31st, we had Anastasia and the Mario Badescu, and I was going to the Sea World with my daughters and my husband, so I had to order them online. I'm still waiting on the stuff, guys. I hate waiting. That's why I don't like ordering online. I don't like to wait. Alrighty, now I'm using this beautiful orange shade over here. I'm using the M441, again from Morphe, right below this peachy shade. See, this orange shade in the pan. It looks breathtaking, but applied, I think the peachy one performed much better than this one, but I will keep actually building it up. Then I'm using the Sonia Kashuk Tapered Blending, and it's from the new launch, so you're gonna find it. Then I'm using this shade over here, this one. And this shade is right inside my crease. I'm using the M433 and this shade over here to the outer third of my eyelid. Cleaning the brush. I love this brush because it actually lays the color and blend it. And then I'm using the first brush I used, the really big fluffy one, with the first transition shade, so I don't lose it and it meshes well with this reddish shade I applied. Then, like I did with this eye, the first transition with the first brush, which is the M504, and I am blending the edges. I'm using this shade over here with a rubber tip, and I'm going in the middle because I'm gonna use a lighter one and do like a gradient effect. So this shade has some fallout, so be warned of that. Then I'm using this shade over here, the one that I used on the outer corner, to blend the outer edges of this gorgeous shade over here. Now this shade in the innermost corner over here. So this shade needs to be built up and you have to work a little bit more with it, so take your time. Now I will work on my lower lash line, but believe it or not, I'm not gonna use the same colors. I feel those colors are good with the crease, but if I take them on my lower lash line, I feel it's gonna be too much red going on, so I will not do that. Before actually going into the lower lash line, I will use the M510 and buff the edges a little bit more. For the lower lash line, I will use two shades from the ones from the many we used on our crease. So I'm only gonna use this one, the peachy one, and the orange one. But for the darkest, I will go for this brown over here. I'm starting with this shade over here. Let's use the Essence Smoky Eye Brush. So I take it from where it ends on the upper lid and drag it to the lower lash line, so everything flows nicely. That's a very nice brush, to be quite honest. It was $1.99. It's very soft for this delicate area. So this palette has more transitions, but no dark colors to define the outer corner. If this is what you're going for, you will have to pull something from another palette. But the other palette over here has a very nice dark shades over here. So it depends of how much you need those colors. For me, those colors, like, they have my name written all over them. Guys, did I even tell you what's the name of this palette? It's the Makeup Revolution Reloaded Iconic Neutrals. I will use a brown eyeliner. I'm using the Wet n Wild On Edge Longwear Eye Pencil in the shade Wooden You Know. Wooden, you know, like instead of would you know. And it's brown because I don't have anything harsh or anything defined So I don't know, I felt that black would be too much with this one. So I prefer the brown for this look. Then using this dark brown, really close to the waterline, like on the lash line, really close to the waterline. Then I will use the accent brush by Real Techniques to blend it out using this orange shade. I'll do this and do the other eye and be right back. To finish up everything with the eyes, I will use the Real Techniques base shadow brush with the Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in Reserve Your Cabana. Obviously not a bronzer. And I will clean up under my brows. I will not do liner for this look. I will just use mascara at the end. Let's go to face now. I don't have a matte bronzer from Makeup Revolution, so but I have baked ones that I use on top. So let me apply my bronze booster by Physicians Formula real fast using the multitask Real Techniques brush. To contour, I'm using the Contour Palette Shape and Sculpt Kit from Profusion. I got this at TG Maxx and it has the most amazing shades ever. I will use my Essential Tools, I guess that's the brand, and using this shade in the middle over here. And because I'm running out of time, I'm actually gonna use the same brush to contour my nose. I'm gonna just take it on the bottom part, just like that. My battery ran low, so I put it to charge, did some stuff around the house. Last thing we did was matte bronzer and contour, I guess. So let's go to the Makeup Revolution product I have here. I have the Vivid Baked Bronzer Powder. I have the shade Golden Days. 2 pink. I have the shade Rock on World. 2 orange. I mix them together. So I will go with the orange one first, which is the Rock on World, then the pink one over. And I'm not gonna go like really hard. I am like sweeping it over with the lightest touch. I don't have a Makeup Revolution blush, but I heard they are so good, and I heard they have killer palettes for blushes. On the hunt for one. I will use this blush over here. It's the Flower Pots Powder Blush, and that's one of my favorite blushes actually. If you're not big with highlighters, this can double as both. For me, nothing can replace highlighter for me. Now, last Makeup Revolution product over here is the Vivid Baked Highlighter Powder in Golden Lights. And I mentioned this again in my favorite highlighters video. I'm using the Deluxe Fan Nose Highlight. I'm not gonna go with the whole exclamation mark because I'm trying a new technique. I'm trying to make my nose look shorter, if it's even possible. Cupid's bow. Then mascara. For that, I will use the Maybelline and the Maybelline Total Temptation and the Peacock Flare. I have a whole video on setting sprays. I will link it down below. The one I'm using is Seal the Deal Hydrating Setting Spray by Flower Beauty. Now for lips, Something inside me wants to use the tulip treatment, but I'm going shopping for grocery right now, so this would be too much, right? What do you think? Too much, right? I will go with a little bit toned down the coral minerals. I will go with this one, yeah. I'm using the Palladio waterproof lip liner in raspberry. Then I'm using the Healthy Lip Velvet Finish by Physicians Formula in coral minerals. That's the final look. Let's recap real fast. For the concealer, let's recap real fast. The concealer, get it, a very good everyday concealer powder. You are oily skin girl, very good for you. Palette, the Reloaded Iconic Neutrals. I'm dying for those shades. I love it. You will have to work with it. Some shades are very good, some shades are duds, so it's like hit and misses within the same palette. You choose your battle over here, you want to get it or not. For me, I enjoy the look I get out of it, to be quite honest. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and like it. If you did, thumb up, don't forget. Before you go, I will be so happy if you subscribe, hit the bell, and share the video. Until the next one, bye!